Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Please stand for the national anthems of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Jamaica, and the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Dear land of Guyana, of rivers and plains, made rich by the sunshine and lush by the rains, say a gem light and fair between mountains and seas, your children salute you, dear land of the green land of Guyana, our heroes of yore, both bondsmen and free, laid their bones on your shore. This soil so they hallowed, and from them are we all sons of one mother, Guyana, the great land of Guyana, diverse though our strains, we're born of their sacrifice, heirs of their pains, and ours is the glory their eyes did not see. One land of six peoples, united and free. Land of Guyana, to you will we give our homage, our service, each day that we live. God guard you, great mother, and make us to be more worthy our heritage. Land of the free.
Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy mighty hand, keep us free from evil powers, be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defenders, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all, stir response to duty's call, strengthen us the weak to change, give us visions lest we perish. Knowledge centers, Heavenly Father, and true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
I kindly ask that you remain standing as we invite to lead us in prayer from the Presbyterian Church of Trinidad and Tobago, Reverend Joy Abdul Mohan.
Please bow with me in the fellowship of prayer. Let us pray. Almighty God, creator of our lives and caretaker of our souls, how great is your faithfulness. You have given us minds with which to think and hearts with which to love and serve you. We come seeking your blessing not only on those of us present, but on all peoples we represent today. In the abundance of your glory, enable us to grow firm in power, so that you may live in our hearts through faith and love. A love so rich it never stops giving. A love so strong it never stops serving humanity. Fill us with your utter fullness and perfect love, that we may become your active instruments in the world. Gracious God, we thank you for the life of Anthony Norman Sabga, by whose generosity and inspiration the vision of the Caribbean Awards for Excellence has come to fruition. May he enjoy eternal life. Bless, we pray, the laureates whom we recognize tonight, and endow each of them, their co-workers and respective families, with grace and strength, so that their future work and witness will be to the credit of their country and to your glory. We commend, O God, this celebration into your hands, and we offer this prayer knowing that from you all things come, and to you all things shall return. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Joy. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to sit. Mr. William Ferreira, Dean of the Consular Corps and Honorary Consul for the Republic of Portugal, and other members of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Excellency, Professor Compton Bourne, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and Chair of the Regional Eminent Persons Panel, and other members of the panel. Mr. A. Norman Sabga, Executive Chairman of the N Group of Companies and patron of the Anthony N Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence. Mr. Andrew Sabga, Chairman of the N Foundation and Deputy Chairman of the N Group. Mr. Anthony N Sabga III, N Group Chief Executive Officer. distinguished members of the N Sabga Foundation Board, country nominating committee chairs and members, esteemed 2025 laureates, Dr. Simone Badal, Science and Technology, Jamaica, Mr. Etienne Charles, Arts and Letters, Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Ayodele-Dalgety Dean, Public and Civic Contributions, Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales, Entrepreneurship, Trinidad and Tobago. Honored past laureates of the Anthony N Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence, executives of the N Sabga Group of Companies, captains of industry, members of the Sabga family, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to the Anthony N Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence 2025. I will now introduce His Excellency Professor Compton-born Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and Chair of the Regional Eminent Persons Panel since 2022. Ambassador Bourne will deliver the opening remarks. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Mr. Andrew Sabga, Chairman of the N Sabga Foundation, members of the Board of Directors of the Foundation, members of the Sabga family, including his distinguished Group Chairman Norman Sabga, Mrs. Maria Superville Nielsen, Program Director, and her staff, colleague members of the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel, chairpersons and members of the country nominating committees, past laureates of the Caribbean Excellence Award Program, incoming laureates at tonight's ceremony, and their families and friends, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you to this gala for not only the presentation of awards to the latest cohort of laureates, but in celebration of 20 years of sustained efforts recognizing in tangible ways the excellence exhibited by our Caribbean nationals and their current contributions to the improvement and development of our collective Caribbean communities, whether they reside in the Caribbean or are diaspora residents. Ladies and gentlemen, it is more than remarkable that what we celebrate now had its genesis in one man's foresight, steadfast commitment to the development of the Caribbean, expressed in his business ventures as well as by his philanthropy and his passion for education. The man of whom I speak is the late Dr. Anthony N. Sabga. I said more than remarkable deliberately, because from a tender age, he himself, by force of circumstances, had to eschew the education and training which children and youths take for granted now. Dr. Anthony N. Sabga, we remember you with gratitude. I wish to take this opportunity as well to also applaud the current members of the Sabga family for their own unstinting efforts to ensure that the Caribbean Excellence Awards, that the program remains vibrant. Now, many persons and entities contribute to the process of selecting awardees, which culminates in the award ceremony. The awards program office, ably led by Mrs. Maria Superville-Nielsen, with support from her staff, anchors the process from start to finish. Country nominating committees in Barbados, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago receive nominations for consideration. They thoroughly assess them and make recommendations to the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel, which then considers the recommendations and makes a final set of recommendations to the board of the Ansel McCall Foundation. As chairman of the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel, I must first thank the program office for the comprehensive dossiers of candidate curriculum vitae, referees report, and other pertinent material they provide to the panel well in advance of our meetings. Second, I wish to thank the country nominating committees for their hard work in screening candidates, and especially the chairpersons of the committees for the quality of their presentations to the selection panel. Next, of course, I must thank my colleague members of the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel for the thoroughness, objectivity, and collegiality which imbues their participation in our deliberations. This year, we have another stellar lineup of Caribbean Excellence awardees, all very youthful and each very accomplished and distinguished in their professional endeavors. In the category of arts and letters is Mr. Etienne Charles, a trumpeter, band leader, a music composer, whose excellence has been recognized far and wide, including by some of the contemporary jazz greats. In the category of entrepreneurship is Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales, a pioneer in building and strengthening the all-important links between agricultural producers, commodity traders, and final consumers in the food supply chain. The awardee in the category of public and civic contributions is Ms. Ayodele-Dalgety Dean, who has done very important work in three critical social problem areas, namely child protection, child mental health, and refugees. The awardee in the category of science and technology is Dr. Simone Badal, whose research is transforming our knowledge of prostate cancer and breast cancer in Caribbean populations. You, the audience, will hear much more about these four outstanding persons later in the ceremony. Let me simply end my opening remarks by extending my personal congratulations to each of the awardees and encouraging the fuller achievement of their already impressive potential. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.
Thank you very kindly, Your Excellency, Ambassador Compton-Bourne, Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce now the chairman of the Answer McCall Foundation, Mr. Andrew N. Sabga, to deliver remarks and set the stage for this evening's proceedings. Mr. Sabga.
Thank you, Wendell. All protocols previously observed. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is with immense pleasure and a profound sense of pride that I stand before you tonight. We gather to celebrate a milestone, the 20th anniversary of the Anthony N. Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence. Allow me to extend a warm salutations to our distinguished guests. And, of course, a special welcome to our 2025 laureates, Mr. Etienne Charles, Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales, Dr. Ayodele-Dalgety, Dean, and Dr. Simone Badal. You could go ahead. Tonight, we celebrate you and your remarkable contributions to the Caribbean. But this evening is not just about the present. It's about honoring the past and looking to the future. For 2 decades, the Anthony N. Sabga Awards has stood in as a beacon, illuminating the path of excellence across our Caribbean region. The awards program is a testament to the vision of my father, Dr. Anthony N. Sabga, a man whose love for his adopted Caribbean home ran deep. He believed that success was not just about wealth creation, but about giving back, about recognizing and nurturing the talent that flourishes within our islands. If you were able to delve into his speeches over the past years, you would find a recurring theme, a deep-seated desire to uplift the region and its people. He saw the raw talent, the potential for greatness, and sought a way to propel it. It was his ardent desire to create a platform that would recognize and support those making a tangible difference in their chosen fields. And so, with the help of a few colleagues and friends, the Anthony N. Sabga Awards were born. It is a tribute to his unwavering belief in the power of Caribbean excellence. But more of this would be possible without a supporting infrastructure and many who shared in his vision. The selection of our laureates is a rigorous process, one that demands dedication, discernment, and a deep understanding of the Caribbean landscape. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the 5 country nominating committees who have tirelessly sought the exceptional citizens from across the region. Their work is complemented by a group of distinguished individuals who are themselves eminent citizens of the Caribbean. The Regional Eminent Persons Panel, chaired by Ambassador Compton Bourne. They bring their expertise and insights to the table, carefully reviewing the nominations and engaging in thoughtful debate to ultimately select our laureates. These individuals undertake the arduous annual task of choosing from a list of very impressive nominees, and I would like to thank them for their invaluable contributions. In particular, I would like to express my gratitude to Justice Christopher Blackmun of Barbados. A member of the panel since inception, Justice Blackmun is retiring from the Eminent Persons panel after 20 years of service. Justice Blackmun, I thank you and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Excellence. Each and every individual in this room pursues it in his or her own way. We all want to count ourselves among the very best. It goes without saying that our laureates share a common trait. It's obvious that they possess impressive work ethics and no small degree of resilience. What is not as evident is their shared passion to give back to the communities they live in and their drive to make the region a better place. Our laureates represent the best of the Caribbean, individuals who have made their significant contributions in the field of arts and letters, entrepreneurship, public and civic contributions, and science and technology. They are artists who grace the world with their music, literature, and sculptures. They are entrepreneurs who create opportunities and, at their very best, transform the way we live by presenting us with new choices. They work in civil society, altering the lives of many who just need a hand to realize their full potential. They are scientists, improving crop yields and seeking targeted cures for diseases that affect people far beyond our shores. These awards are testament to the vast range of human potential and a celebration of Caribbean talent that continues to make a mark across the globe. The past 20 years of the Anthony N Sabga Awards has been a journey that has seen us recognize and support 66 outstanding individuals, inclusive of the 4 we honor tonight. Many of them are here with us tonight, so happy to see you all. The Answer McCall Foundation has never flagged in our commitment to this mission. Even during the 2-year pandemic, when gatherings were almost impossible, we sought out the best and recognized their work. As we celebrate 2 decades, let us also look ahead. Tonight, I reaffirm our commitment to supporting Caribbean excellence and nurturing talent that will shape our region for generations. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's to 20 years of excellence. I thank you.
66 Caribbean laureates, over 32 million in funding. For 20 years, the Anthony N Sabga Awards Caribbean Excellence has been proud to recognize and support exceptional Caribbean talent. The program's founder pursued excellence himself, an immigrant who grew up as the son of a shopkeeper before founding his own manufacturing and distribution businesses. He had, over decades, grown as a businessman by leaps and bounds. At the time of his passing in 2017, the Anson McCall Group was already one of the Caribbean's largest conglomerates. He set the standard in his businesses through his own example of excellence and unrivaled work ethic and attention to detail.
My father was my inspiration. He always instilled in me the idea that I could achieve anything that I wanted if I believed in myself and persisted in my vision of what was possible.
The vision was a regional awards program. It was a vision that Dr. Sabga crafted with a few colleagues.
The awards are indeed novel in history, and they show the character of the man who made them possible.
Being seized with the promptings and imperatives of a charitable heart is only the beginning of effective philanthropy. What is equally important, apart of course from the deep pockets and the financial resources, is the strategic decision-making about what to do to be most effective.
Tonight is about excellence.
It was decided that a rigorous selection process would find the region's best in 3 categories: arts and letters, public and civic contributions, and science and technology. Later, in 2015, the category of entrepreneurship was added.
It's really nice. It's really good to have been recognized, because so many people have really toiled in the vineyard and have never been recognized.
Tonight, I salute Dr. Anthony Sabga and the Foundation for recognizing Caribbean people, for showing respect for our work, and for placing value to our achievements.
First of all, I want to say how deeply humbled I am by this award, this recognition. I want to acknowledge Dr. Sabga especially, and his family especially. This is visionary stuff. This is historic. This is unprecedented. I want to quote David Rudder. Can you feel a new spirit coming rushing through all this funk and fury?
We've awarded poets and novelists, sculptors and musicians, photographers and filmmakers, entrepreneurs who have innovated and transformed their sectors. Our civil society laureates keep the Caribbean afloat, or at least make it a more just and humane place to live. They're the advocates for the most vulnerable. They minister and support, counsel and teach. Our science and technology laureates improve crop yields, fight deadly diseases, and even research life on other planets.
There is much truth in the words of the song, until the philosophy that holds one man superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. We can end the wars, all of them. Thank you very much.
Honestly, when I learned that I was nominated by Guyana in my own little world, that was sufficient for me, even though I didn't win the award.
So Mr. Norman Sabga, Maria Nielsen, distinguished guests, family, friends, I recognize and receive this award tonight for what it is, an act of love. A way that the Caribbean has chosen to love me back, me and my fellow laureates, for the work that we do. And I know that love comes with its own responsibility, the responsibility to return it. And that much I commit to.
I encourage everyone in this room. Realize who you are. Be the best that you are. Devote yourselves to being excellent. And then our Caribbean will reach the pinnacle of excellence. I thank you.
I write because things just vex me and people just irk me. And I write because I worry, and not just about me, but about country and this hot, hot reality about where we be. We people still on the man foot, still look at the days of mass and mass million. I write because it's so cut, it's so wound, it's so let loose, and when my words come good, it's true utopia. I write for my people and me. I write because it's that what set me free. Thank you.
So, pitch and mud. What comes to mind? Juve? You're feeling the Dingole and Ramage? A little road paving, perhaps? Anything but astronomy, right? Well, the mud volcanoes and the pitch lake in Trinidad hold clues to understanding life in the universe. How mind-blowing is that?
People often ask me what it is exactly that an orchestral conductor does. What, they ask, are those strange patterns traced through the air? And is the conductor vital to the performance, or rather a kind of ornamental figurehead?
There's something truly special about this initiative, which is built by Caribbean people for Caribbean people. And these awards are also unique in that they are the highest recognition for science in the Caribbean, something which is chronically undervalued.
And I think also that it is so important to express to our children a love, respect, and knowledge of these islands of the Caribbean on which they were born. If only we had more of this, there would be less, I think, of the brain drain.
It's with all humility I receive this because there's so many people who deserve this. In real life, I am not being pious here, but so many people who deserve this more than I do. I could get food and clothes and shelter whenever I want, I think. But thousands and thousands of people who we deal with can't. So I really want to thank the vision of Dr. Sabga.
We are serious about finding the brightest, most promising people in the region who are in the productive phase of their careers. I give them the means to pursue work that will benefit us all. These awards, my friends, are not backward-looking. What concerns us, what should concern all of us, is the future. The lives of our children and grandchildren we lead. Where they will live, what sources of energy they will use, what type of homes they will live in, and what their environment will be like. What ideas will excite and drive them forward. These awards, my friend, are what will lead us to look to the future in a region which in too many ways is still trying to escape its past.
We are the region's most prestigious awards program, shining a spotlight on excellence, propelling talent onward to more exceptional work. This is our Caribbean. Only we can enrich and uplift it, striving always onward, upward, to excellence.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a journey over time taking you through 2 decades of Caribbean Excellence. May I say thanks to Wendell Manwarin, our narrator, and appreciation to our young composer, Mr. Stephen Ayong and his ensemble, an ensemble of carefully curated musicians, of course, providing what in other parts of the world would be hidden music and hidden narration, whereas in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, we showcase the best of what we have to accompany technology that is a fully curated video with live music and live narration. You don't get that these days. Were we at the Academy Awards, they would be in another room with technology connecting them. And were we at the Grammys, they would be in the orchestra pit somewhere down there, front and center on stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to recognize the 2025 laureates of the Anthony N Sabga Awards Caribbean Excellence. And we can be a little bit more Trinbagonian, a lot more Caribbean from here on in. Yes, I know you'll want to take your photos and videos and big moments, and all of that is allowed, but for the purpose of our folks that are actually ensuring a proper recording of the proceedings this evening, don't get in their way. Thank you. To our laureates, big times. You'll eventually get to this portion of the stage after you've been invited on to receive your award from Professor Compton Bourne, His Excellency, and from Mr. Andrew N. Sabga. But your hands will be filled. So there will be representatives of the organizing team on stage to assist you at that point, or you can place your award right here, yeah, as you deliver your remarks. And I've saved you all the problems around salutations. Just start easily. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and you will have covered everybody. Tout moun bagay. So good luck. Celebrate and enjoy the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, from a proud history, we fast forward to the present. In the room this evening are our 4 distinguished new laureates. The first was educated at the Juilliard School of Music and is professor of studio music and jazz at the University of Miami's Frost School of Music. He is a jazz musician, familiar to many of you in this room, who has topped the US jazz charts and played on Grammy-nominated albums. He has also pioneered the return of live band music to the streets and alleyways of Trinidad and Tobago's national festival, Carnival. He is, of course, our laureate of arts and letters. We refer to Mr. Etienne Charles. Let's watch.
From my early development, before I even started playing jazz or experimenting with improvisation, I'm talking about age 13, 14, I was listening to these jazz albums that already had this fusion. I mean, Monty was doing reggae fusion, Naya Bingy fusion, Chucho Valdez was doing Cuban fusions. And then when I heard David had done this album with all these rich Puerto Rican Afro folk rhythms with the original percussion. I was like, oh, it was at a point where I was deep into jazz, like straight ahead swing. And it was that point I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. But I want to do it for the music and the rhythms we have in Trinidad.
To me, he's a musician, historian, ethnographer, all wrapped up in one, a very inquisitive human being who investigates life around him through music and investigates history especially. All of his music is deeply rooted in history.
For me, my music at the core is a communication with my ancestors, with our ancestors. The reason I know that I am drawn to music and to many instruments is because my great-grandfather, Clément Louis, was a multi-instrumentalist from Martinique. When I learned that he was from Martinique, I was already an adult. I was maybe 19 or 20. And I immediately got some field recordings from Martinique. And before I knew it, I had this album of music, of rhythms from all over the Caribbean and New Orleans, which people forget is a part of the Caribbean. I was trying to come up with a name, and I knew it was about Creole, because we are all Creole people. And then the percussionist, Achi, he was like, yeah, man, it's like a soup. It's like a Creole soup. So then I was like, man, you know, it could be a Creole soup. That's how that album got the name, and it kind of sent me into a different stratosphere of recognition, which then made me realize that who I am, when I use that in dialogue with music, it has more impact.
What I particularly appreciate about Etienne is the way he has been able to use his music to do storytelling. And from the perspective of educational storytelling, you know, his focus has really been on telling the story of our culture in different ways.
In 2016, I was doing my carnival research for my Guggenheim Fellowship. And I was at the Savannah all day Carnival Tuesday, following sailors and taking pictures of Monko Jumbies. I was running around with Maria Knowles, their friend. And we got in the car after. I said, Maria, where the brass bands go? Like, I see any.
The live music had been so kind of sucked out of Carnival, taken over by the DJ trucks. You know, the extent to which Carnival is really now a big moving fat on the road.
I was like, you know what? I'm saying it here. This is Carnival Tuesday 2016. Carnival Monday 2017. I'm coming with a brass band on the road for Carnival, doing it.
He came out with We the People, was his first band. And the response to it was incredible. To me, you know, the heart of our carnival is music. Without music, there's no movement, right?
I played a couple of years with him on the Monday Mass, bringing back the full band on the road and hearing some of the old calypsos being sung with the brass lines and so on. It really takes you back. It brings back a level of enjoyment into the Mass that seemed to have just kind of gone away.
And that was kind of the start of this revival of brass on the road, live brass music. And now they have other bands coming out now. You have Brass to the World that's coming out. Now you have, you know, there's all these other bands that are coming with the same concept of reviving live brass. The road is a temple. And when there's live brass involved, it's a higher power.
I think something else that is important to say about Etienne is the incredible work ethic that I've seen that he has. I mean, he has a carnival band while he's arranging stuff for his own band because he's seeing about all the arrangements for the touring of his own band. And I could go on and on. Plus, he's a full-time professor at the University of Miami.
As a teacher, being an immigrant, being a non-American rooted person, I make sure all of my students understand that they have to know their roots, because the United States has become this place where you're supposed to forget everything else. And so I have this exercise that I do with my second-year class, my sophomores. How many of you can sing, dance, play a song, rhythm, or tell a folklore story, or do a dance from your non-American heritage? I want you to know your identity, because it's my identity that made my compositions more profound, and as a result, gave my music a higher level of reception.
So he's very possessed by the music. He's really driven by it. He's propelled by it.
I'm still trying to grow as a composer, and the next step for me is to write an opera. So that's on my list of dreams, an opera and a ballet, but with my own Creole Caribbean identity, like all over it.
She's an Arts and Letters laureate in the Anthony N Sabga Awards.
Etienne Charles!
Sorry, I'll take the last line from that. I hear you. That's what world class looks like. It comes from right here on this Twin Island Republic. The same one. The one with all the bacchanal and the commerce and the whatever. It have that too. Permit me to invite at this time Ambassador Bourne and Mr. Sabga to join us on stage to present Etienne with his award. Excellency, Mr. Sabga. Etienne, this is a little bit like Carnival Monday, except that when you cross the stage, you're going right back in the same direction from where you came. So don't go there, come back here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Anthony N. Sabga Award, Caribbean Excellence Laureate Arts and Letters, Mr. Etienne Charles.
Good evening, everyone. All previous protocols observed. Distinguished guests, friends and family, and my fellow laureates. I'm humbled, grateful, inspired, and energized to stand before you today as the laureate in the arts and letters of the Anthony N Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence. This is an incredible initiative, and right now I'd like you to give the Ansel McCall Foundation a round of applause. Caribbean Excellence. Those two words ring in my head, kind of like my grandmother used to ring my ears. Growing up here in the Caribbean, it set me on a path with a hunger for knowledge and a penchant for communication. The hunger, because we have so many unanswered questions here about our history, our ancestry, and so much more. I'll quote the great Dion Brand, one of the world's greatest novelists from right here in Trinidad. For some, to find beauty is to search through ruins. So I search wherever I can for sounds, new and old, stories, new and old, from all over the Caribbean, reinforming the theory that we inform each other and feed off of each other. In Barbados, they say wanna. In Jamaica, they say ono. In Trinidad, we say all ya. It comes from the same place. At Bishop Anstey Junior School and Fatima College, right here in Trinidad, we learned that though our country and our region is small, we do great things. People like Winifred Atwell, Buzz Butler, Kwame Ture, Lennox Pawan, Rujwanath Kapil, Hazel Scott, Jean Pierre, Sir V.S. Naipaul, Bugsy Sharp, and many, many others who influenced the world with their excellence, Caribbean excellence. Later learning wider in the Caribbean about people like Maurice Bishop, Walter Rodney, Rex Nettleford, I could go down a long list. We would be here all night. At home, my parents accepted nothing less from my sister and I than doing our very best, and I thank them for that. My mother would always say they might try to deny you based on how you look, where you are from, how you talk, but they can never deny excellence. Let the work talk. Mom, thank you. But for me, it's more than parents. It's a village, my village, aunts, uncles, siblings, cousins, mentors, bandmates, and dear friends who through checkups and check-ins, they let me know that yes, you can do this. So to all of them, I say thank you. I'll quote the great Kai Miller, my friend, colleague at the University of Miami, and now fellow laureate. For here's the truth. Each day contains much more than its own hours, or minutes, or seconds. In fact, it would be no exaggeration to say that every day contains all of history. I'd like to thank the Anthony N Sabga Awards Committee for selecting me as this year's laureate in the arts and letters. I must thank the nomination committee here in Trinidad and my referees for their diligence, kindness, and support. And right now I'm going to do something very strange. I would like all of my family and my band, my musicians that are here, to stand. And I would like everyone to applaud, because my work would not be able to happen without them. So I thank you. And I would like Maria Nunes to stand, please, because we work so closely together. Nunes, love it. And I will leave you with a quote by the great Andy Warhol. The idea is not to live forever. It is to create something that will. Thank you very much. And congratulations to my fellow laureates.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Etienne Charles. 3 fun facts. Unlike the other awards ceremonies, there's no music that's going to play to get you off stage when you're delivering your remarks. Just deliver your remarks. Secondly, fun fact, and you had to be there, there was a time in our national festival when the music bands walked the streets whilst the masqueraders stood proudly on a float. Imagine that. I see some of the youngsters trying to replicate that these days, standing on a float next to Nikki and others. Big up your whole self. Ladies and gentlemen, our next laureate is a food creative who has brought the grocery shopping experience in Trinidad and Tobago into the 21st century. This is through her online grocery, D-Market Movers. With steely determination and a bright smile, she has expanded that business with one thing always on her mind: making best use of the crops we grow in our own Caribbean soil. Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales is our 2025 Entrepreneurship Laureate. Have a look.
Growing up, my parents used to call me greedy. I would eat my brother's food because he didn't like to eat. And I think that hunger, that greed, is what really drove me. It's incessant. I almost never really feel satisfied or full because there's always more to do. There's always more work to do, more ways to help people, find their wellness, their memories, through food. I think we have to consider that. We know the price right, which I think was one of the biggest barriers in export that we experienced, right? So we know we're going in with a competitive price. David and I met in the bank, and he's from Las Cuevas, and he would bring fresh fish to our co-workers. My brother and I were in agriculture, and I would put fresh seasoning and make these bundles at work.
There I realized that people appreciated convenience, because the fact that you could literally come in to your desk kind of thing, and they appreciated that. But the process was very tedious. And then I was like, okay, so maybe we need to do this online.
D-Market Movers started in 2009, and it really wasn't an aha moment. It was almost a natural transition into something that I was already passionate about, which was food and technology.
But Rachel had the experience, and she started to build out the website, and one of those Yahoo websites, like very template kind of thing. So that was our first iteration of Market Movers.
If I were to describe myself, I would say I'm a food creative. I think growing up, we were told you had to be an artist or something to be a creative. I have a very type A personality. I design websites, I can code, but that's how I express my art. If I were to say in one word, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Definitely a food entrepreneur. I was told by a banker that Caribbean people would never buy food on the internet. We've sold over 1.5 million pounds of food on the internet. So that no is what really sort of drove us to find new spaces, new opportunities.
As a director of Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, I had been invited to sit on a loan panel. And I remember it very distinctly. Rachel and her then business partner, David Thomas. had already started moving the market, as it were, to their customers.
We went to them. I pitched on the panel with David, with my little business plan and my idea. And we asked them for $30,000. They said, no, that's too much, too risky. But they gave us $10,000.
Rachel struck me as being an extremely authentic young woman at the time. I was impressed by the clarity of her vision.
To this day, they have no idea how much that was the most money David and I ever really had at the time. And that really changed our trajectory. It gave us a sense of purpose and belief and trust in what we were doing.
I mean, the market is developing too, so people are going to be...
When we first started the business, because we were online and persons couldn't touch and feel their fruit, we offered a money-back guarantee just to build that trust. And we would always deliver on our promise. We would always deliver high-quality produce because we were dealing directly with the farmers and bringing it straight to the consumers. And to date, we didn't have to refund anyone, luckily. So we're going to help them with their branding and packaging. And then because it's frozen, we actually, I think, created that frozen fruit sector. I remember when in the grocery stores, the sign went up in the freezer, frozen fruits now available. And you saw an influx of, other imported frozen fruit brands and things like that. Because we were in the market and seeing so much pawpaw being dumped or wasted and, farmers not getting the best price for it, we saw an opportunity to really preserve that and to extend that shelf life, reduce the food waste.
There's no need for imported fruits.
Yeah, I love this particular smoothie and I like the integration of the pineapple. Yeah. We felt like the better we made these local brands look and give them compliance and access, the better our customers would feel to have these high value, high quality products. And this is where Market Movers Design was born. And it's really special for us because we get to help other food brands within the sector get to that space, get on the shelf, and really expand. So change the cubes to the new one.
Well, that only.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Right?
So just remember the cubes will have to adjust there. Our vision for the future is to secure food security in the Caribbean. And with everything going on across the globe, the Caribbean is in a pivotal moment to secure those things that are most important to us. And food is at the forefront.
Well done. Ambassador Bourne, Mr. Sabga, please join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Entrepreneurship Laureate is Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales.
Thank you so much. So I did the ChatGPT. I did all these speeches. I'm a tech person. And all that mattered is this moment and everything that led to this moment. Etienne and I went to Bishop's Junior, just saying, same year, same everything. And I think being a Caribbean person being someone who is different in every room you enter, it's important to be recognized in any way and any format. Food has always been my passion. It's been my, I don't know, like power. If I could cook, if I could find the ingredients, it mattered, right? I'm just so grateful. And I think when you're recognized, when a light is shone on you, and everything you dreamed up, everything you were told you couldn't do or shouldn't do as a woman, as an entrepreneur, it matters in these moments. As an entrepreneur, there's no one more selfless than an entrepreneur. In the category of entrepreneurship, all we do is serve our customers. All we do is solve problems 10 years down the road. David and I, we dreamed this up. 16 years ago, we believed that we could help Caribbean people eat better, live better, find the foods and the ingredients that matter to them, that made them stronger. We're exposed to the sun a lot more than everyone else. We're exposed to a lot of things. We're vulnerable to a lot of things as Caribbean people. We're on tiny islands. And because of that, I feel like whatever we can do to strengthen that is all that matters. And I think food is where we start. We could play music, we could solve all the problems, but we all want to know what we're eating after this, right? Food is all that matters to me. Because if we don't solve food, if we don't solve how we're gonna nourish the next generation and the next generation after that, then we're not doing what matters. We have to feed people first. We can do everything after, we could party after, we could do all that. But we need to support farmers. I grew up in agriculture. I grew up going to a market where people would determine your worth by absolutely nothing. It really didn't matter. They would tell you whatever you grew was worth this. And I wanted to find a way to bring value to people who worked really hard to grow what we eat tonight, tomorrow, next week. And that was my dream. And I want to thank everybody, every single person who, every idea I had, just said, do it, Rachel, do it. And David, wherever you are, I can't see you right now. We started this in my mom's gallery, selling vegetables to people who we loved and cared about. So tonight matters. And I think with great responsibility, with great power, with everything, I think the answer in Sabga, when you hear that name, it means a lot of things. But you didn't have to do this tonight. You don't. You don't have to do this. You don't have to invest in entrepreneurs. You don't have to invest in the future of the Caribbean. But you do, and that's what matters. So thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for inspiring hundreds of entrepreneurs all across the Caribbean who kind of look up to me. I don't know why, but I think it's important to make things matter. Do not gloss over. Do not, whatever. It matters. Everything you do matters. And I thank you for tonight. I'm telling you, this investment, you have no idea. You have no idea what it matters to us. So thank you. And thank you to my other laureates. And my mom, my family, everyone who's here, who's believed in me, my friends, and Caribbean people are top tier. If you went to college in the States, you know. So keep investing in Caribbean people. We matter. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales. Well, Rachel, the 7-year-old me wants to know, where were you back then? Saturday mornings, Stingray, Power Rangers, cartoons on TV from 9 o'clock in the morning. Yet your grandmother calls you, when? Go in the grocery and get some split peas for me. So you must now leave the television, head to the grocery, 2 minutes away, run, pick up the split peas, come home. Go back in front of the TV. When? I forget to tell you, get some chive and onions and 1 clove of garlic for me, please. Go on again. Where were you? For all of us in here, who every weekend had to go to the grocery whilst TV on. So there's a version of you now in 2025 that's making a world of difference to the magic of feeding people. And just imagine, our groceries closed every Thursday at 12 noon, not to reopen again until Friday morning. Not open on Sundays, all day. And if they were open on Sundays, there was a large sheet from somebody's bedroom that was covering all the alcohol. Go figure. It's the way we do what we do in the Caribbean that makes us so unique, and it's the memories of yesteryear that makes the dynamism to pursue excellence that gives you the gift and the reward that you have tonight. Congratulations. Now we head to Guyana, where the second of our 3 female laureates lives and works. She is a family therapist who plays a crucial role in protecting Guyana's children from sexual violence. She is the founder of Blossom, Inc., an NGO that not only facilitates forensic interviews admissible in court, but provides services to migrants who cross Guyana's porous borders. Indeed, she has become a partner of the state while challenging the state to do more to protect minors from life-altering crimes. Ladies and gentlemen, our Public and Civic Contributions Laureate for 2025 from Guyana is Dr. Ayodele-Dalgety, Dean. Have a look.
My rose-tinted Guyana would look like a society free from violence, especially sexual violence, and that's to our host community and our migrant community, to children and to adults, to boys and girls. Okay, so my name is Ayodele-Dalgety Dean. Everyone calls me Ayo. I'm a family therapist, born in Guyana. Did my primary school and part of high school here. Then I migrated to the UK because my parents thought that it was best to be educated there, etc. So moved to the UK, did my university education, started my fabulous life or career. I started to go around Guyana, seeing the various children's homes. And of course, things started to fester in my mind. There was a huge gap in the market for children who were victims of sexual abuse and exploitation. I went for the call to collaboration, and 10 days later, I set up Blossom.
Just saw you guys looking friendly, so I said, let me come over and say hello. Nice to meet you. I'm Ayo, by the way. I'm Hussein. Hussein?
And I remember I set it up and I thought, right, I'm going to do this work. And I thought, damn, I have no money, you know, no funding, but didn't stop me, you know.
My name is Alexander Wong, Migrant Support Social Worker from Blossom Inc.
My name is Shauna Jones, and I am the Migrant Support Manager at Blossom Inc.
I am Leanna Thompson here at Blossom Inc., and I am the Program Manager.
So you generally would allow the child to speak and then say things like, tell me more, because you don't want to ask it. We do not ask why questions. What we try to do is solicit the best factual information from the child.
It's very important, the service that Blossom provides, because victims of any kind of abuse, and particularly child victims, must have a voice. And while the situation, the circumstances are unfortunate, the fact remains that to allow them to have that voice in order to have closure is so critical. And Blossom provides that kind of support, not only to the children, but to their families.
This would be April 26th, right? That's Saturday, April 26th.
You quickly realize that it's not just Region 4 or the Georgetown area that required services, but the whole of Guyana, and we have hard-to-reach communities. So at that point, I thought, at some point, we will have to decentralize the services.
I was a friend of mine. I would describe her as a very warm person, first and foremost. A person who is driven, who has a vision. It's very, very focused. And I think that's why Blossom has excelled.
Now, my big thing is that we have to get to the harder to reach communities. So we have hard to reach communities, then we have harder to reach communities. So I could have a center, like for instance, I have a center in Mabaruma. But what about the children down in Whitewater, down in Manwaran? Those areas, they are even harder to reach. Guyana has porous borders. So the majority of migrants we deal with are Venezuelan migrants. And we know this is a Latin American Caribbean issue. But we go there, it's a lot of child protection issues. It's a lot of violence issues. So I think it's hard work for the police. It's hard work for the Child Protection Agency. And it's hard work for Blossom. But, we must continue to reach these persons and we must continue to provide services to them.
Feel like, oh yeah, somebody sexually molested me. We're going to ask the questions to see exactly what it actually is, so that you can get access.
I think my social conscience came from my mother, because she always encouraged us to not just think about ourselves, but think about others. So things like our birthdays, it was always, yes, we could have a little celebration for ourselves, but what will we give back to the community? Every day, there are stories of hope. I think the work that we do, it's so, sometimes it's so immediate that you've made a difference. And I think that's one of the things my staff always report. Even if they feel overwhelmed, there's going to be a story of hope. Someone that they have helped, someone where they've made a difference.
We invite His Excellency Professor Bourne and Chairman Mr. Sabga to join us on stage for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2025 Public and Civic Contributions Laureate is Dr. Ayodele-Dalgety, Dean from Guyana.
Wow. Well, I may have a lot to say, actually. And thank you so much for letting us know it's just ladies and gentlemen. So I stand before you today with a heart full of gratitude and a deep sense of honor as I accept the Anthony N Sabga Award for Caribbean Excellence in Public and Civic Contributions. This recognition is 1, a personal milestone, 2, a testament to the resilience, dedication, and very staunch commitment of my team at Blossom Inc., and I must salute them. I know they're looking. And 3, it is recognition of the countless children, women, and migrants in Guyana whose lives we strive to impact positively every day. So receiving this prestigious award affirms the importance of the work we do. For too long, the most vulnerable among us have suffered in silence, victims of violence, neglect, and systemic barriers that hinders their access to justice and healing. Our mission has always been to provide a safe space, to offer a voice to the voiceless, and to advocate for meaningful change that transcends individual lives and strengthens entire communities. It is work born not of charity, but of conviction that every human being has the right to safety, dignity, and care. And I must tell you a little side story. Whenever we're looking for staff, if someone just comes in and says, I want to help, we're like, no, this person is not here. They might not have it in them to have that true conviction. You know, you have to come in thinking systemically about what exactly you want to do and how change can happen. So this achievement, it means that our efforts are being seen and valued beyond the borders of Guyana. To have this work acknowledged on a regional stage affirms that the margins are not forgotten, that even the smallest centers in hinterland communities and in our border villages, the cry for justice is heard. It signals that our efforts are not isolated acts of resistance, but part of a wider Caribbean movement for equity, for healing, and for transformation. Therefore, for me and for Blossom, it's not a simple accolade. For us, it's a total moral imperative. It is, as we like to say, a carrion call to amplify survivors' voices, to hold power to account, and this we have to do always and over again. And to ensure that no child, no woman, and no displaced person is ever left behind. They are reminders that our Caribbean is only as strong as its commitment to those most vulnerable. It is also a call to action for stakeholders, policymakers, and fellow advocates to continue collaborating in our shared pursuit of justice and equality. So the generous support that accompanies this award is greatly appreciated. It will enable us, and I say us, this team at Blossom Inc., to really dig deeper in order to expand our reach, enhance our services, and innovate our approaches in tackling child sexual abuse, gender-based violence, child protection, and migrant integration. With 8 child advocacy centers operating across Guyana's 5 regions, we are committed to strengthening our efforts and ensuring that every individual who seeks help receives support that they need from us. So with that said, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the Anthony N Sabga Awards Committee for recognizing and validating this work. I honor my family, I will never say long-suffering husband, but happily suffering husband, whose love is the foundation of my endurance, my staff at Blossom Inc., whose excellence makes everything possible, my colleagues at the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, the Child Care and Protection Agency, the Guyana Police Force, the Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Unit, the hospitals who work with the children. I absolutely salute you guys that show up day after day after day under difficult circumstances. And to all our funders, which includes the government of Guyana, UNICEF, UNHCR, the private individuals, and the bag ladies, and I hope you can hear me, the bag ladies, whose donations fill gaps. I value you. This award belongs to all of us. As we celebrate this achievement, however, let us also remember that our work is far, far from over. The fight for justice and protection must continue with even greater vigor. For every child who deserves a safe childhood, every woman who deserves to live free from fear, and every migrant who deserves dignity and opportunity. Together, we here as a Caribbean people, we can and we will create a future where safety, belonging, protection, and empowerment are the inheritance of all. Thank you.
Congratulations once again, and thank you for your sentiments and remarks, Dr. Dalgety Dean. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, our Science and Technology Laureate is a cancer researcher who lamented that she could not find the right cells to test potential cancer treatments. The problem was that the commercially available cancer cell lines did not represent the people who lived around her, her friends and family and fellow Jamaican citizens. And that is why she developed Jamaican cancer cell lines that will hopefully lead to targeted treatments for Afro-Caribbean populations. Dr. Simone Badal has accomplished scientific research that even her peers thought unattainable. For this, she is our Science and Technology Laureate. Let's have a look.
I was never someone who always wanted or thought of traveling and staying overseas for any extended period of time, thinking that, okay, perhaps I'd have better opportunities. I knew I would have better opportunities, but there was this innate desire to stay here, even though it would be more challenging, because it's needed. And if all of us left Jamaica, if all of us left Trinidad, then who would we have to actually do the essential work?
We just get the biopsies in. Yeah.
A cancer cell line is cells that we take from the body and grow them indefinitely outside of the body. So the process is intensive because naturally these cells won't survive. Our Black men are twice more likely to die from prostate cancer than a white man with similar prostate cancer. Or Black women who are less likely to develop breast cancer, they're more likely to die from it. So I started saying, okay, perhaps we need to buy our cells, go online, try to identify these cells. I'm not seeing any cells from the Caribbean. So, okay, can I get some Black people cells? Okay, can I get some prostate cancer cell lines? Almost all of them are from white men. The exact figure, 98%. And more than 90% of the breast cancer cell lines were from white women.
I'm Dr. Cornwall. Today we'll be doing a biopsy of the breast just to find out what the lesion in the breast is. So that's where I come in, providing the tissue from the breast from patients for her to use to develop the cell lines. So him say, yeah man, I remember when the letter came from Dr. Badal.
We did something that people told us not to do because it was too challenging. They told us if we tried it, it would not work. And these are persons who were experts in the field in the United States.
Simone's work has been frowned upon, if I may use such a strong term, in its infancy. Persons thought that it could not be done, persons thought that it wasn't relevant, and she persevered.
You typically start chemotherapy before you go in to get the tissue. The report came to me, and I remember when it came to my email, I went to my husband and I said, hey, I have an email, but I need company while I'm opening the email. And I opened it, and it was just glory. It was a wonderful moment.
This is groundbreaking. Stay tuned. Listen, we are trying to change or modify in whatever way possible the treatment protocols for breast cancer so that we can get to hit where it matters most, our Black women, because most of the protocols have been developed on Caucasian-based population.
What I admire about her is that she didn't cut any corners. She decided to compete with the best in the world. So she's competed successfully for NIH funding, and she's carried out this work to the highest scientific standards that could be carried out anywhere in the world. So for that, we are very, very proud at the University of the West Indies.
Did you update the budget per our discussion? I had a very strict father, and one of the fundamental things he taught me was, whatever you do, do it well. Simple, but fundamental. And it was something that he lived, something he practiced. So I was extremely competitive. He also was and still is a Christian. So I grew up in Christian principles, Christian values. If I'm not playing my role, then it means that someone is not benefiting from service that I should be offering. I ran to my husband. Greg, it's here. The report is here. So I wanted to document the journey that we took as a team to developing the first cell line. You're not 5'3", I think you're 5'2".
She's a team player. She knows how to pull the team together, how to rally through sad times, good times, bad times, how to work with each other. She works with each of us as a member, an invaluable member of the team. And you can't do a research like this without a team.
I wanted to not just document it so that it was understandable to persons in science, but someone who is not in the sciences. I wanted to highlight the different stages of my life where I had to develop certain backbone, certain resilience that contributed to that outcome. And perhaps this will create a reawakening, because I'm tired of seeing my students come to classes just going through the motion, just thinking, why am I here? Perhaps if they can see, touch, taste, that, okay, we're actually doing things here that will make a difference for persons tomorrow. They can enjoy the learning process once again.
There's no other better person who could be suited for this sort of achievement, accomplishment, and award than our own little Talawa, Dr. Badal.
I don't want to start something and have it die with me. I want it to live on for as many years, hundreds of years, and I want it to be if I'm in heaven somewhere, if that's where I end up, to see that, okay, or persons with cancer or Black people are getting real benefits from the treatments that are developed. And it started with our team here believing that it could be done.
Once again, we invite Ambassador Bourne and Chairman Andrew Sabga to join us on stage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Science and Technology Laureate from Jamaica, Dr. Simone Badal.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I have a confession. When I was approached by our dear Professor Kawo to be nominated for this award, I thought at the moment this was the first time I was hearing of the ANSA award. How could I have missed this? So immediately I left, I opened the laptop, I researched, and quickly I learned of this prestigious award that Simone did not know. However, it wasn't until later on I realized that no, I was aware of this. A couple of years ago, someone had reached out to me and asked me to write a letter of recommendation, and it was actually for this award, this prestigious award. So while I'm a bit embarrassed to say that I didn't, I'm actually happy because it makes standing here more worthwhile, more satisfying. And as I thought about what I would say, I got some perspective. I'm just a speck in this vast human, this universe, yet a speck with a role that I have to play, as we all have to play. And if at any moment I'm not walking in that purpose, then I'm not just shortchanging myself, I'm shortchanging you, because I'm here for you. And as I thought some more, what am I going to say? I was reminded of a critical moment in my life. One of the persons here with me, Colette, she approached me several years ago and she said, Simone, I'd like you to be a part of this Bible study group that we're in the process of starting. And of course I said, Colette, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. And she kept pressing me. And I went to the first Bible study meeting, a group of 6 women. We went to the Swallowfield Chapel. And I said, okay, let me give this a try. And every Monday evening at around 7, we would meet up and we would go into the Word. And quickly we started expanding the Bible study to fine dining, to weekend retreats, until my husband called us the ladies of the night. And at first we said, okay, that doesn't define us, but then we eventually embraced it. And we grew as a tight-knitted group. We fell in love with each other. On one occasion, one Bible study, I remember exactly, vividly where this was. One of us, Annie, shared some news with the group. she shared that she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. I remember the stillness in the air as we sat and we zoned in on Annie's words. She tried to be strong, but we felt her pain. And that was the beginning of the journey that we took with Annie from the first moment of her diagnosis, and we experienced her highs and her lows. She did surgery. We got a reprieve. Eventually came back. She was cancer-free. And we went back to our wonderful Bible study group. The story doesn't end. A month later, perhaps a year, back at Bible study again, and Annie shared the cancer was back. And this time, it was in her liver. And we held her hands and we continued the journey. And I don't have good news for you, because Annie did not survive. And it was during this moment that my desire to conquer my research for my personal gains changed to conquering this research for my Caribbean men and women with cancer. And that's why I'm here. And I thank you for understanding the value in this work. I thank you for giving us a voice that will allow us to not just keep this research surviving, but to allow it to thrive. Not just have one lab, but two, grow to buildings, and we can hopefully metastasize around the world with this research until every Caribbean man and woman is no longer facing this dreadful disease. But I don't stand here alone. I'm a small component of this larger machinery. I need oncologists, radiologists, pathologists, epidemiologists, biostatisticians, and many of them are here with me tonight. I need lawyers, I need business development personnel, and I need the senior management UAT, many of whom are here. And together we work with that common goal to solve this disease. My students as well. And so I thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for persevering with me. I'd like to thank my parents, who unfortunately are not here, for passing their genes on, for passing their teachings, discipline, perseverance, kindness, thoughtfulness, ingredients that I needed to play that critical role for which I was created. I'd like to thank my teachers, my mentors, my colleagues, my friends, persons who have my back, my six, persons who are my sounding board, because at times it gets challenging, and at times it's a little bit too heavy to bear. So thank you guys. To my wonderful husband, who is also here with me, Gregory, thank you for being that unwavering and steadfast support in my life. For providing a home or an environment with no ceilings, no restrictions, for me to be whom God created me to be. And finally, to my Creator, thank you for choosing me for this moment. I hope I've done you proud. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Our thanks to our Science and Technology Laureate, Dr. Simone Badal. Audience, please. Gregory, where are you? Greg, stand for a minute. Dr. Badal, stand for a minute, please. Stand for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, she acknowledged her husband. The least that we can do is give him a little bit more of a bigger, please. It takes two to tango. Congratulations. I held my perspectives on the last two laureates, if only because of the clear message that's there, protecting the most innocent in the Caribbean, and saving the lives of those who bring innocent people into the world. Were it not for us, the beauty that everyone jumps on a plane from other parts of the world to come to would just be islands with sun and sand and no one. So the fact that we are here means that we have a purpose, and we must make full use of the purpose. Therefore, to those youngsters in our audience this evening, and those who will eventually see this, excellence requires commitment, dedication, determination, perseverance, grit, and an attitude that you will settle for nothing less than the best. One day, come to the stage of the Ansa McCall Foundation and be a laureate yourself. Make a difference for the Caribbean. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce our final speaker, a woman who worked with Dr. Anthony Sabga and has administered these awards since 2005 as its program director. She has met every one of the program's 66 laureates. Please welcome to address you, Mrs. Maria Superville Nielsen.
Just one correction, since 2007. Now I get to do the long list, eh? Mr. William Ferreira, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps and Honorary Consul for the Republic of Portugal, other members of the Consular Corps. His Excellency, Professor Compton Bourne, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and Chair of the Regional Eminent Persons Selection Panel. Other members of the panel: Mr. A. Norman Sabga, Executive Chairman of the Ansa McCall Group of Companies and patron of the Anthony N. Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence. Mr. Andrew Sabga, Chairman of the Ansa McCall Foundation and Deputy Chairman of the Ansa McCall Group. Mr. Anthony N. Sabga III, Ansa McCall Group Chief Executive Officer. Distinguished members of the Ansa McCall Foundation, country nominating committee chairs and members, our laureates for 2025, Dr. Simone Badal, Science and Technology, Jamaica, Mr. Etienne Charles, Arts and Letters, Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Ayodele-Dalgety, Dean, Public and Civic Contributions, Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and Mrs. Rachel Renie-Gonzales, Entrepreneurship, Trinidad and Tobago. Our honored past laureates of the Anthony N. Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence, executives of the Ansa McCall Group of Companies, captains of industry, members of the Sabga family, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you, those of you here, and those of you who are looking at us online. I asked them earlier to play I Feel Like Dancing. They didn't take me on. You have no idea what this evening means to me, the exhilaration that I feel. I was there for the conception. I was there for the birth. And I am present here this evening as this awards program becomes a young adult. 20 years, wow. That's why I feel like dancing. You all don't listen. In the times that we live in, it is important to celebrate milestones as they come, which is what we are doing this evening. As we mark this significant anniversary, I must acknowledge the work of those who contributed to our progress. Mr. Michael Mansour, the second chair of the regional panel, was chair of the executive committee that directed how the program would be established. It was he who, through his many Caribbean contacts, allowed us to identify and recruit suitable persons to fill our panel and country nominating committees. While he was the most apparent to chair the panel in 2005, he declined, insisting instead that Sir Ellis Clarke be that person. We owe him a great deal, and I am happy that his wife Maureen and daughter Natalie are present with us this evening. Please. Mr. Mansour also identified Mr. Francis Lewis, our first program director, who was charged with implementation. The saying, "Do it right the first time," holds true. Mr. Lewis and his team gave us a foundation that is as strong today as it was then. He too is with us. Come on. Remembering our beginnings cannot be without the mention of Mr. Wilfred Naimol, the man who whispered the idea to Dr. Sabga and who nudged, prodded to its realization. But there is also someone who is not here tonight that I do want to acknowledge. Someone that I have the greatest respect and admiration for. For while we worked in the office to persuade Dr. Sabga that this should happen in his lifetime, there was someone much closer and dearer to him working at home. Mrs. Minerva Sabga. I know that she is looking on, and I wish to express our deep gratitude to her for the encouragement that she gave to Dr. Sabga to have these awards established in his lifetime. She was a lot better at persuading him than we were, and it is thanks to her in large measure that they were established when they were. Thank you, Mrs. Sabga. There are panel and committee members who have been with us for 20 years. Justice Christopher Blackman has been with us from the beginning on the panel. Yes? Major General Joseph Singh, retired, began his journey in the program as chair of the Guyana Nominating Committee, and then was literally catapulted to the regional panel the next year, and there is a story to that. Maybe Justice Blackman could tell that story. Dr. Basil Springer chaired the Barbados Nominating Committee for many years and continues to serve. Dr. Marlene Cox and Mr. Al Crichton of the Guyana Nominating Committee have also been here from the beginning. On the OECS committee, we have Sir Errol Allen, Mr. J. Emile Ferdinand, and Mr. Marius Sinrose. Dr. Charmaine Gardner chaired that committee for a while and then was elevated to the panel when a vacancy arose. Let's give them all a round of applause for continuing to be with us. You would have heard tonight that we have a college of 66 laureates. That was only possible because of the wisdom and diligence of our regional eminent persons panel, headed by Ambassador Professor Bourne. It is a work of art, how they build consensus and arrive at the very best candidates, some of whom were not known to most Caribbean people. Thank you, Regional Eminent Person Selection Panel. I think they deserve a round of applause. But the panel would not have a job to do were it not for the country nominating committees of Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, the OECS, and Trinidad and Tobago. These committees, working with their researchers, do the heavy shifting and lifting to provide the best from their pool of candidates or what they receive from the public call for nominations. Thank you, Country Nominating Committee members and researchers. To our event managers, Lisa Ghanaian Exceptional Events, our decor designer, Premium Event Services, our photographers and videographers and other service providers, thank you for your creativity, advice, and professionalism. You may not have realized it, but the musical accompaniment to the 20th anniversary segment was an original piece composed especially for this project by Mr. Stephen Ayong. It is a beautiful composition that captures mood and rhythm of our journey. Thank you, Stephen. And of course, our thanks as well to the musicians. Mr. Wendell Manwaring, thank you for your eloquent narration. To the management and staff of the Hyatt Regency, in particular, the food and beverage and rooming services staff, thank you for your guidance and the courtesies extended to us, particularly when at times we were making changes faster than the ink would dry. That's life. Laureates, Etienne Charles, I think you went across there. Rachel Renie-Gonzales, Ayodele-Dalgety Dean, Dr. Simone Badal. Thank you for accepting these awards. You are exceptional people. You're warm people. And with it, as I believe Ayodele said, was it you, Rachel? It comes with a responsibility to better what you have done before and to inspire those coming after you. It is a challenge, but I have no doubt that you're up to it. And if it is one thing that our laureates do for us, is give us hope. And many of you would have heard that hope does not disappoint ever. To the second Wendell, Constantine this time, thank you for masterfully taking us through this evening's program. To our Peregrinade, thank you. You left us speechless at times. Sorry about the pun. To our beautiful ushers, thank you. You would have seen in your program booklet that this year our foreword was penned by Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, ORTT, President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We thank her most sincerely for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this evening's formal proceedings. On behalf of the chairman and members of the board of the Ansa McCall Foundation and my colleagues Olivia Habib and Robert Clark, I thank you for your presence with us this evening, whether you are here physically or online. We are Caribbean people. We celebrate our own. May the Anthony N Sabga Awards, Caribbean Excellence, thrive and grow beyond measure. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing. dusk till dawn. I feel like dancing, oh yeah. I feel like dancing. Tonight I'm gonna put it on.
Yes, indeed. I think they worked all day yesterday to ensure that that song, Fanfare, Farewell, for the very end of Maria's remarks, would have been cued on time. Well done, guys. Excellent. Congratulations. Great. I'm not going to keep you much longer, but you need to remain seated, please. All great shows, all lovely performances must have a finale. Must. And so we could not have an arts and letters musician not participate in the finale with a musical treat. So Mr. Etienne Charles, Arts and Letters Laureate, will perform on trumpet together with some friends on stage, several other renowned musicians who have flown in from the United States of America for this performance only. So unlike last weekend, where there might have been some problems with flying into Trinidad, we're good tonight. It's all good. They're all here. Yeah, yeah. You will see the performance tonight of some persons are asking, what happened last weekend? You will see in performance tonight Godwin Louis on saxophone, Alex Wintz on guitar. Alex Wintz on guitar, check, check. Harvel Nakundi on percussion. Russell Hall on bass. And Christian Sands on piano. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to enjoy jazz like you've never enjoyed it before. Please welcome Etienne Charles, the sextet finale.
Thank you very much. Give it up for Wendell Constantine, Mrs. Maria Superville Nielsen, and the Answer McCall Foundation. We're going to do something a little bit different for you right now, but you saw one earlier in the night. We're going to feature the work of two laureates at the same time. Years ago, I did an album called Carnival, The Sound of a People, and after writing and recording the music, I reached out to my dear friend Maria Nunes, who had helped me to capture all of the footage that I used to then write the music via inspiration. And then we put it together in, for me, what is one of my most powerful pieces of work. So what I'm gonna ask you to do is actually not look at the stage for a little bit. And I want you to pay attention to what's going on the screen. But we're gonna play along. This is a live film called Jab Malassi. Hope you enjoy.
Are you here? Come in. Ah. Ah.
I do. You want to say something? Yes, I don't crack. When you cool, I'm a rest. Hey, are you uploaded? Yeah, we have blue. Let's sit up here. We have blue stuff.
Give it up for Maria Nunes.
Give it up for Arvin Nakundi at the drum. Russell Hall at the bass. Christian Sands at the piano. Alex Wentz at the guitar. Godwin Louie at the alto saxophone. Give it up for the Answer Caribbean Awards. Give it up for my fellow laureates. Put your hands together for the Sabga family. I'd like to thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Let's go.